Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've seen any of our other recordings. I am your girl, Color Me Badly, and at least that is what I go by and who I go by over here on these YouTube streets. Happy to meet your acquaintance. If this is your first time, welcome. We are super glad to have you. And hey to all of my current subscribers, people who watch the channel, welcome. Glad to have you. Today will be a little bit different. Normally we talk about hashtag all things beauty, things that have to do with fragrances and things like that. Mainly that's all we talk about, right? But today I wanted to come on and chat it up a little bit about the way that I cope with things like stress, depression, things of that nature, right? Without using any type of medication. How to keep the chakras clean, or to clean the chakras from trauma, disappointment, hurt, you name it. So I decided to come on and share. I got a few notes with me. This will be really short, brief, and quick. But if you are interested in finding out what I discovered and the benefits of keeping your chakras clean, please continue to watch. All right, so let's get into it. Without further ado, again, this will be really brief. I just wanted to come on and share some pointers that I learned and doing a little bit of research on my downtime this week about chakra cleansing, why it's important. Now, I do want to share with you guys because most of the people who watch the channel or my videos know that I'm a believer and know that I definitely believe in the Lord. There are people who are in the religious community that may say that this is not of God. These practices are not of God that I'm going to talk about and mention. I totally disagree with that. That's just me, my opinion. Upon doing research, a lot of these practices go back to ancestral days of the ways that our ancestors healed themselves. That they connected with a higher power, which is our God, exercise, and things of that nature. So these are spiritual practices for some people and how they connect to God through nature before there was a text to read, right? And so I really am interested in these practices. It's nothing spooky, nothing where it's going to happen, just general practices that you can use for coping mechanisms when you are dealing with a traumatic situation and you're trying to remove that. One thing I want to share with you guys that I learned through going through a couple of things in life is that your body records everything that you go through and everything that happens to you. Whether it is something that you've been violated mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, your body records that. And as a result of that, it is called trauma. And when we go through trauma in any type of form or fashion, we have to get rid of that, right? So that we don't continue to carry those things. And I didn't learn about these practices until as of late. I would say maybe within the last 10 or 15 years, because prior to that, because of my religious teachings, I've always been taught to stay away from things that I'm about to talk about today. And I found out that there's nothing wrong with them. It's a lot of these methods that I've studied about are better than taking drugs and medication. They are pure, what purists use to keep the temple clean. My dad used to tell me when I was a little kid, our body is our temple. And as I get older, I'm beginning to understand exactly what he meant by that. And so with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get off into some of the things that I've discovered about keeping the chakras clean. All right, so just so you know, normally you guys know I speak off the dome. I don't read off notes. It's just something that I'm really good at, right? But today I did take notes just to make sure that I hit the proper points, because you'll always have people who will say, well, she didn't say this, or that's not right, or whatever. So I wanted to kind of go through and read the notes that I have. So first of all, we're talking about chakra cleansing and why it's important to me. The chakra is a wheel that refers to energy points in your body, right? They're spinning discs of energy. You ever hear people talking about, oh, you got good energy, I love your energy, I can feel your energy? Or you'll be around people and they have really bad energy or dark energy. You can feel their tightness, you can feel their stress, you can feel the negativity coming from them. That part. So this is kind of helping us to stay open and aligned is what a chakra cleansing is. And it's not so much open so people can read us or steal our energy or steal anything from us. It is so we can continue to receive. When you give out to the world, the universe, or as givers, you want to be able to receive also, because as you give, you receive, right? So in order to keep everything flowing properly, you have to stay open, okay? And in order to stay open, we have to keep our chakras clean, okay? So it is something that helps our nervous system to correspond. It's a bundle of nerves that our body is made up of. And in that, if anything is closed off, it causes dis-ease in the body with our organs, our emotions, and our physical well-being, right? The way that you unblock your chakras is basically holistic. So no matter what your spiritual beliefs are, we're talking about all around the world, people who may have never even heard of Jesus Christ of youth or Allah, anyone that practices or studies Buddha, any type of spiritual practice. Just wipe away all of those beliefs and just think about, before any of that existed, just holistic healing. How you block your chakras is a holistic approach. It's for physical. You can use it or receive it through yoga, meditation, all energy-based techniques. Again, some people disagree with some of those techniques, but I don't, so I'm going to share them with you. All right, so the reason that you want to get familiar with this particular practice, for me, and how I got in touch with, my mainstay is meditation. So I love to meditate. And the way that I got connected with meditation is I came across a situation where I had an injury. This was some years ago. And instead of relying on the pharmaceutical medication, pain medication, drugs, I decided, I actually prayed. And I asked God for a way to help me recover and heal naturally. Okay? Some may say, yeah, I'm telling you, that's what happened to me, and that's how I got familiar with it. It helps with your visualization. You can work through affirmations. Some people believe in affirmations. It's just like if you take quotes from your Bible and you speak them. You often hear about, if you pray the word or you speak the word back to God, his word will not return void. That's an affirmation. What does God say about you in the word? You speak that to yourself. So no matter what someone on the outside has to say about you, you will always hear someone say, but what does God say about you? As long as you don't agree with the adversary, this is what God says about you. That is true, right? I also use breathing exercises. If you, of course, we're all here, so we survived the pandemic. Those are things that I got familiar with during that time. Learning how to breathe, take deep breaths. When I'm talking or when I'm working, make sure that I use my breath work properly. There was a gentleman I met actually in the grocery store. My son and I were shopping. This was when things were open, but the stores were only open during certain times. This was back when you had to stand. Everybody was into the 6 feet thing and the whole 9 yards. And there was a guy that walked up to us randomly. He wasn't trying to shoot his shot or anything. He just said, he walked up to me and said, Queen, he said, make sure you take deep breaths. That is the way we're going to get through this time. Take deep breaths. Take your time. And he just walked away. And at that time, I wasn't even familiar with breath work. I had only been familiar with yoga. And then also I was familiar with meditation, as I stated earlier. So this was something else that was added to the coping mechanisms that I had already been accustomed to and acclimated myself to, and teaching myself how to cope with stress, how to remove trauma, traumatic thoughts, things that may haunt you from your past, whatever the case may be, depression, anxiety. They are things that help keep me calm. They also help release blockages. I'll share something with you that will cause a blockage in your body. It is when you have a conversation that's heated. If you have a disagreement with someone, if you have an argument or a fight with someone, and there's no resolve in that conversation, what happens? There's a blockage that's there. Okay, it's just like anything else. I think you can refer back to, like, if you have an art with your brother, make sure you go and you lay it down on the altar. Go and apologize. Lay your gift on the altar. Go apologize to your brother and sister for whatever the situation may be, even if it wasn't your fault. And once that conversation is had, you can go back to the altar, pick your gift back up, and move forward. So that is something that is used in the church, in the kingdom of God, as a form of repentance and apologizing to someone when there's a conflict between two or more people and you feel like you can't get a breakthrough, your prayers aren't being answered in some way or another, or you just feel a disdain between, or you have an art with someone. Same thing. There's a blockage. There's a blockage that could be in your communication. There could be a blockage in your heart chakra. There could be a blockage anywhere in the body. And when you learn how to do these things, yoga, meditation, deep breathing, movement, exercise, going to the gym, going for a walk, those things are so important. And they have really helped me within the last 2.5 years of trying to stay regimented in those areas. I'm not one of those kind of people that hop up every single morning or afternoon or evening and go and do my thing, but I try to do as much as I can, when I can, to keep myself clean, free, and it helps with everything, clear of thought. I'll share something with you. Since I was a teenager, probably before a teenager, I've always suffered with a little bit of depression, and it is because of some childhood traumas. Okay, and with that, I did receive counseling as a kid after something traumatic happened in our family, and I remember that. But there still wasn't any resolve in that area. You know that grief can linger and carry on in a person for years and years and years, and you continue to carry that baggage as you go along in life, and you don't use it as a crutch. You use it as your strength and your power, right? But at the same time, those things stay with you. And as I stated earlier, when you go through and you have traumatic things, your body records it. Your body remembers it. That's why you have dreams. That's why you have sometimes nightmares. That's why sometimes people have insomnia and they can't sleep at night, because they have so many things going on in their head. They can't lay down, they can't rest, they can't relax, and they can't go to sleep. Nothing ever stops for them, right? And so these are things that help. Energy-based techniques. Chakra meditation, healing energy, crystal healing. Now that's something I'm not into, and that's a really, really sensitive and touchy subject for some people. I've just found that that's a method and mechanism that isn't for me. Again, affirmations. I found out through doing a little bit of research lately that there's a method called tapping that some people do that helps with calming the body down. It's kind of like a baby. When a baby is upset or fussy, or even has gas and needs to pass it or belch or burp, right? You tap the back, right? You massage the back to move whatever's going on in the body out so that it leaves, right? Same thing. When I used to go on my walk, there's a church that I used to pass by, and I actually served at that church for a short period of time. And early in the morning, there is an Asian elderly group of men and women who exercise, and they do it in front of the church. Okay, and I would see them every morning, And one day I stopped to take a phone call while I was walking, and a lady was still out doing her exercises. And I kind of observed her out the corner of my eye just to kind of watch what she was doing, because I love to learn, right? And you don't always have to ask questions in order to learn from a person or people. And I saw her tapping. She would bend over and tap her knees and tap her ankles, and then she would tap her elbows, and then she would tap her shoulders, and then she would tap her face, and then she would tap her head, and then she would bring it back down. And she would do it all over again. I sat there because I was, like I said, I was taking a phone call. And I was also enjoying sitting there and observing what she was doing. And what was she doing? She was releasing negative energy and trauma, releasing toxins from her body. And I felt it. And so that's probably what made me kind of sit there and stick it out and kind of watch and observe what she was doing. And I want to say she was every bit of maybe about 80 or 90 years old, you guys. And she was in excellent shape. So I took that from her, and I thought, adding something new to keeping myself young. And then and kind of wrapping up, sharing with you what this little rabbit hole I've dug myself into, just kind of studying and learning things. This is all connected to a healthier lifestyle, connecting with nature. Lately I've been noticing people talking about grounding, where you take your shoes off and you stand in the grass or on the concrete or in the dirt. That's something I used to get in trouble for when I was a little kid. You couldn't catch me with shoes on my feet. Outside, no shoes for me. And that's something I always used to get, talked about or talked to about, is keeping my shoes on my feet. But grounding is another thing. Self-reflecting, releasing toxins from the body. Anything that will help us to be better for ourselves, our family, if we have one, our friends, our loved ones, co-workers, anyone that we come in contact with during the day. These are just practices that help us have overall a better quality of life. And I've been watching this really cool podcast called The Vault Empowers, and I believe the host name is Brandy Harvey. She is one of the daughters of great comedian Steve Harvey, and she is one of my motivators right now. I really enjoy her podcast. I love her energy. It's just something about her that makes me want to become better, and I love it. So these are some of the things that I kind of gained from that podcast myself, and also just doing the study and the research. Now, all of these practices may not be for you. Some of them I don't know anything about, and I don't do them. Again, I'm not into the crystals and all of that, but I do believe that it is important to keep your chakras clean, your chakras aligned, that you self-affirm yourself, that you breathe, that you exercise, that we sometimes have to fast from people, places, and things. It's just something to just keep us balanced and restore the balance and release the blockages in our bodies, in our lives, and just live an overall better lifestyle. I am no expert, so please don't quote me on anything, but I thought I would pop on and share those things with you. And as I continue on this journey, I will pop on every now and then and share them with you. But I love to meditate. I love to enjoy the frequencies of cleansing my chakras, and especially the heart chakra, you guys. It's really, really important. And then communication as well. I will share some of my sounds that I've been listening to. And next time we'll pop on and talk about sound bathing. I love sound baths, so we'll talk about those on the next time. If you're interested in hearing more, let me know down in the comments. If this is something that you love to do, if you do yoga, if you breathe, if you meditate, what type of exercises and working out are you into? Share down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Just a motivational comment. It's always encouraging. Let's uplift and keep each other encouraged. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.